And welcome, race fans, to another episode here at CRN with the Ultimate Conquest Racing League, powered by Rogue Energy. We are with the UCRL and the FIREBREATHERS Throwback Cup Series. It's 83 degrees outside. Track temperature is 86 degrees, so nice, cool track temperatures here for a 123-lap race at Darlington. But it's a little bit different here tonight because I came here straight away tonight, and in the booth from the start, from the rip, Carl Handwerk. How you doing tonight, Carl?
Good. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're ready for another beautiful, beautiful race here at the Darlington Raceway. And this track is obviously very iconic. It's very famous. It's got, I mean, any track that's got its own nicknames, like the Lady in Black. It's got its own name for cars constantly getting at a wall with the Darlington stripe. I mean, this place is just, it's unique. It's got plenty of history. But I think that the biggest thing about the history of this track is it started off as a 1.25 mile oval, and you know, anyone that knows Darlington knows that it's got a kind of an odd shape. Turn 1 and turn 2, obviously different radius than turn 3 and 4, but the reasoning behind it, I mean, there's so many tracks that, you know, have different stories. That, you know, the road course was designed this way because of the contours of, you know, the mountains or the hills or the trees, or, you know, this is the amount of land that they had to work with. Why is Darlington shaped the way it is? Minnows. That's right, minnows. A minnow pond that was adjacent to where they were looking to place the track. The owner refused to move it, and that gets us the shape that we have here tonight. Jimmy? Minnows.
I mean, I need minnows to fish.
It doesn't get more unique than that.
I need minnows to go fishing. I mean, you mean they do what they do and come up with a very unique track and very special. This is a driver's track. You're going to see some great racing out here tonight as the drivers are out there on the track right now, trying to put down some good times. But before we get started into the night here, we'll go just run down a quick down through the points and where everybody stands as we start getting towards the later part of the season here. Grady Gherkin's on top by 21 points over Andrew Ratcliffe, that's on the screen right now. So pretty close battle here. We do have I think 10 or 11 drivers out there tonight as well. So right now it's Grady Gherkin, Andrew Ratcliffe, Chris Stouffer, then Scott Bolster sitting in P4, Matthew Simmons, Jacob Lesh, Tim Glass, Chris Bouchard, JP Phillips, Justin Kirby, Stephen Mioch, Brent Kirby, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Byers, Jeff Ryan, Jeremy Little, and Trevor Hunt. So a lot of good drivers out there, and you know, it's been a tight-knit type of crew this season with these unique cars, and you know, they put out for next season going to be them 87, so a lot of classic racing. I know a lot of people like them cars, so if you're interested in joining up, we're here at UCRL. Hit up Scott Bolster or myself or Carl. We can get you in touch with UCRL and join these gentlemen here racing around the track already. So right now qualifying is underway. Andrew Ratcliffe taking that provisional pole right now with a 29.397 over JP Phillips with a 29.423. So going to be some tough competition up there tonight.
Yeah, now Darlington's known as the track too tough to tame, but really it's been a little bit of the car too tough to tame for some drivers out there this season, especially here tonight. It's gonna get just a little bit sketchy. Darlington is always a tough track to get around here, but coming out of turn 4 is really where it gets sketchy, and even out of turn 2, depending on the angle that you're coming out of. I mean, you see how wide the track is, but anyone that knows anything about Darlington here knows that you got to be above those last dashed white lines at the top. So that it's really only about, technically, you know, 3 car widths wide. I mean, you see 3 seams there, but in all reality, it's about 1 wide. I mean, you get too wide there. You can do it if you give each other enough room to breathe, because that's pretty much what it feels like. You're claustrophobic up there if it's too wide, but it can be done. You can certainly make passes here, but it's really all about setting up, and it's almost kind of setting up the pass and getting your nose in there and kind of forcing that other driver to make a decision to either run hard to defend that position or just go ahead and concede it. But you mentioned the points. It's really been a two-car or two-man breakaway this entire season here between Grady Gerken and Andrew Ratcliffe. Only 4 drivers come in here tonight with perfect attendance, that being Gerken, Ratcliffe, Stouffer, and the man behind the curtain here, Scott Bolster. But I mean, it's been Gerken and Ratcliffe pretty much all season, and Gerken having the finish last week gets him another 5-point buffer over Andrew Ratcliffe, and it's only 21 points, but with the lower car counts here, it kind of, any little bit helps, and it's hard to make up any kind of deficit unless you have a really bad race from your points leader and a win from second place or anyone else. But I mean, 2/3 of the way through the season, I don't want to say it's all done and dusted, and these two are the ones fighting for the championship, but it's almost getting to that point.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a little bit closer there towards the end, and I'm sure, I believe they have 2 drop races throughout the season as well, so we'll see how that comes into play here in just a few short weeks. But right now for tonight, we're looking at 4 sets of tires in the pits. There is a 1 green-white checker attempt. Lucky Dog is obviously active, so if there happens to be a caution, and I'm talking like they're very rare here, somebody can get a lap back. They will be looking about approximately 50-ish to 54 laps, give or take, on a set of tires and fuel, Carl. So that's a long time to be beating and banging on them tires with this very unique trick.
Yeah, what's kind of funny about Darlington is it's certainly, it's not easy. And like I mentioned, coming out of turn 2, coming out of turn 4, you can easily have that back end step out. But iRacing in general, unless you have that car spinning and up there at the very top, on the front stretch or back stretch, it doesn't throw caution. If it's anywhere, middle to down on the bottom, which is where the car is typically going to spin, it's going to kind of, not necessarily like, Dover kind of self-cleaning, but it is banked on both straightaways, and excuse me, it will send those cars down towards the inside. And unless there's kind of multiple cars or those cars are stuck on the top line, you're not going to get a caution. Now that's if these guys even spin at all. I mean, we've seen some great racing from UCRL throughout this entire season, and is typical here in UCRL that it's really tough to make up any kind of time due to cautions. But tonight, there's a reason that this place is too tough to tame, but we'll see if everybody can get through this thing pretty clean. But Jimmy, we're about ready for this lineup here tonight.
Yeah, his lineup is a tight one as usual, with Andrew Ratcliffe on top with the 29.397. He gets that pole over to the number 22, JP Phillips. A little bit of space that he's much needed there with, but Grady Gerken also fast tonight, sitting in P number 3 and at number 46. P number 4 will be Matthew Simmons. We've seen him come a long ways throughout the season, or actually throughout the couple of seasons, and through the series here with the UCRL, and turning some pretty good laps and being able to manage their tires just a little bit better. So we're going to see good things out of that number 49 here tonight as well. Then Jake Lesh up there in that number 51. We see him out front in some good racing out there. Suzuka tackle on that road course. We'll see what he can do here with his unique corners here at Darlington. And then we got Justin Kirby back in at number 58 in P number 6. And then Chris Stouffer back there in P number 7 and that number 13. Scott Bolster sitting there in P number 8 and then number 45. Save Miok in the 95 sitting in P number 9. Tim Glass in 18th. And welcome back Brent Kirby. It's been a little while, sitting in 11th place in that number 34.
Yeah, we mentioned Darlington being unique, and really that's what you can say about this schedule this season. There's really nothing anywhere close to back-to-back with these guys, kind of getting comfortable with maybe a couple mile tracks or a couple 1.5 miles or even the 2 mile tracks. It's really all over the place. And you look at the ending to this schedule here, the last 5 races after tonight. You go to the 2.5 mile Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You got New Hampshire, the 1 mile flat oval up there in the New England area. The 2 mile Michigan International Speedway. Phoenix Raceway, the old configuration, so they won't be able to use the cut the track on the backstretch there, and then finishing off at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the 1.5 mile, the older version there, so a little bit slicker. But I mean, nothing that you can really say in those last 5 races that are anywhere close to each other. I guess maybe you can say New Hampshire and Phoenix are both relatively flat, but I mean completely different tracks. So it's going to take somebody that's well-rounded, and we'll see who it's going to be between Grady Gherkin and Andrew Ratcliffe. But we're about ready to find out who can tame the Lady in Black here tonight. Andrew Ratcliffe, JP Phillips on the front row. Barney's got that green flag in the air, and we are racing, and already some issues at the front. Like the 49 of Matthew Simmons, something happened with him, and then Justin Kirby getting involved as well. Looks like we are going to stay green, but that, I don't know, we will get the caution here after all, but not sure exactly what happened, if that was a missed shift or what, but I seen the 49 get into the wall. It was helped, or if it was a misgear. Now we'll take a look.
Everybody else needs penalties cleared because you passed on the inside. Let me know.
Hold on a second. You guys are going to get a little flavor. Take some. Been doing some racing lately, so I got the driver's sound on. So let me disable that real quick so you guys don't want to necessarily hear that. Sometimes it can get lively, but no, yeah, we'll go back. We'll take a look what happened there from the start there and see. And it's right as everything kind of flew here, right around the 51 and 58. Oh, 49 just in the wall, and the 58 nowhere to go in the rear end. Wow. So just go ahead.
Exactly the start that these two certainly envisioned here, and first time we've seen a caution in quite some time. But right from the rip here, I mean, it just looked like the 49. I mean, I don't know. It stepped right out on him. I mean, I know these cars can be a little bit slippery, but man, that thing just took a sharp right turn.
Yeah, that's extremely unfortunate there. But the 49, 58 obviously getting wrapped up. The 45 getting in the back there, a little bit of net code there as well. But yeah, tough break here. Lady in Black already claiming some people. Like, it was still green, but obviously caution was thrown there by the admins to bring this thing back together here. So the first caution in a very long time. And Carl, just just a little bit of how much power is in these Gen 4 cars, and how easy you gotta kind of ease on that throttle to get around here.
I thought you were going to say something about see what happens when you come here and you start the race. I mean, I feel like I'm bringing a little bit of a jinx here to these boys here tonight, but either way, we'll get this thing turned back up. But while we got some time here, some more kind of interesting facts here about Darlington that I thought was pretty interesting. The infield used to be known as the Blockhouse, a cinder block jail for drunks. With only one hotel in Darlington during the race's early years, fans came the night before and slept on the bonnets of their cars and around Town Square. And some Darlington homes even took in fans, setting up makeshift beds in the front rooms. And then to put down rubber to help traction on the track, townspeople were urged to drive their cars on it the day before a race. So that's pretty interesting. I kind of wish they did that kind of stuff today. I'd certainly take a run up to Pocono with my car. It may take me a minute and 54 seconds to get around Pocono, but it'd be fun to just get out there. I'm just putting some rubber down for these boys.
Yeah, probably more like 3 minutes. I mean, that's as big as that track is. But yeah, I remember going there with my dad, and we up at Pocono. This is, and they told him to go up on the track, and he was like, up on the track, and he's like, and they're like, yeah, and he's like, well, how fast can I go? And I was like, well, how fast wherever you want to go. So this was back in the early 90s, so I don't know if they still do that today, but I definitely did allow to get people going into the infield to spend the weekend, the opportunity to go around the track in their personal vehicle is kind of fun. So I do remember it long time ago. But we're getting ready to go back to green here. I think the lights are off on the pace car. I'll just go ahead and look forward here on top of that number 46 Grady Gherkin there, and you can see the pace car there out front, Andrew Ratcliffe. They are off, so we are down in turns 1 and about to go through 2 down that back stretch, and we'll be getting ready to go back green here.
Yeah, I know. I think it was last year. I went up to Pocono. They had a laser light show. I was kind of hoping that it was on the infield, so I could actually drive through and get on the infield there. But it was on the outskirts. But I know I have a friend that is down in Kentucky, and they go down to the Bristol Motor Speedway every year. They have a show with lights in for Christmas, and it's actually like a drive-through thing where you actually drive from the outside of Bristol, drive into it, and then drive around the track, as they have lights going all the way around the track. So you do get to drive around a NASCAR track if you want to. But these boys are about ready to get some laps in here and already going green off of turn number 4. And you see it is a bit slippery out there, but we're going to get this thing going green and clean this time. Andrew Ratcliffe leading over JP Phillips, Grady Gherkin, Jake Lesh, and Chris Stouffer in the top 5.
Yeah, wasting no time trying to get back out front, get this thing underway. Grady Gherkin making that, falling in behind at 9 at 22. Doesn't want that 9 to run away here tonight. We talked to Andrew, about some of the upcoming races, and this is one of the tracks that he says that is one of his favorites. So look for that 9 to be a very tough competitor here tonight as he leads this thing here on lap number 7 over JP Phillips, Grady Gherkin. We're going to go back in the back of the pack. Newcomer, he's been here for a few races now, though. That's number 95 is Stephen Meop. Just doing a good job so far. Up 3 points, or 3 positions here early. Obviously, there's some people spinning their tires, moving them back. But that 49 of Matthew Simmons is back out there, right there behind Scott Bolster, looking to get around him. And obviously, Justin Kirby bringing up the rear there, just obviously collected incidentally with nowhere to go. But that blue black magic machine is definitely out there tonight, trying to get things done. So right now, everything is looking good. Everybody is single file as they head around here for another 120 laps.
Yeah, nice long one tonight, and you see already a little bit of a Darlington stripe there for, let's see if that was a Stouffer or not, but it's really just about survival here for the first 60, 70 laps, at least till you get that first set of pits going. And really nobody down on pit road in that first stop there except for Matthew Simmons and Justin Kirby, just to probably clean up their cars a little bit and hopefully not have to take a fast break. Didn't look like it was too crazy, man. I know Kirby kind of went up and under Matthew Simmons there, but it didn't really look like it was too much damage for either car. But looked to be cleaned up right now, back out there, and get this thing back underway. But Andrew Ratcliffe leading the way, and again, he needs a good finish here tonight. He needs to try and kind of slow down the bleeding that he's had the last few weeks. Obviously, Suzuka a couple weeks ago, really not much he could do there. He was literally just trying to survive that one. But he just kind of needs to stop the bleeding of Grady Gherkin stretching out that points lead and out to 21 points right now. He's got to start chipping back away into it, and he's probably partially happy that JP Phillips is back in here to be up here in the mix and splitting them right now in second place. But in the same case, he knows JP Phillips is certainly a threat to win this thing too.
Yeah, JP's has, he was last series champion, and obviously has shown that he can win in the Gen 4 car as well. So very tough competitor, and it's been JP up there doing this thing as well. And Tommy Ryan, missing him this season, but we've seen him come in here and pull off some great finishes and wins too. So missing some good competition, but look at the 22 right now, looking down to that inside, trying to get by the 9 of Andrew Ratcliffe.
Yeah, you'll see now, JP Phillips had a great run out of turn number 2 with a little bobble from Andrew Ratcliffe, and you see how difficult it is to make a pass here, and he just falls back in line. But I tell you what, we talked about the minnow pond. I think this would be a perfect time for JP to be running that Spirewire scheme here on the on the Gen 4. I mean, it all makes sense. But got the smart water on the 52 here, or the 22 here tonight. But good to see these boys having double digits out here again. Looks like 10 cars out there in the field. Brent Kirby doesn't seem to be out there in the field. Maybe didn't make the start of this thing, but we got 10 of them out here, and it's certainly good to see at least one of the Kirbys back out here. JP back in action as well, but it's all Andrew Ratcliffe at the front.
And just doing a little bobble there by the 51 of Jake Lesh, trying to keep up with those top three, trying not to let them run away. And there's a lot for these drivers to be out here. Obviously for almost 50 laps. You can see a little squirrel there between the 51 and the 13. Gonna let the 13 Christopher go by. As I was talking about Jake Lesh there just a little bit, but yeah, it's a long time to manage those one set of tires out here, because you know how hard you can drive these cars, and unless you've got some serious time in them, where you know how to manage the tires, this track is very difficult to get around on fresh tires, let alone some worn down, overheated, lack of better words, ticked off tires that don't want to be on the track anymore, and still get some good laps. And you get to see them how close they're running that wall, and it's really testament to these drivers really trying to finesse these cars around here to get very good lap times and runs, and keep the competition tight. But the top four are only spread by mere 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, 0.6 of a second. Yeah, and it's good for probably his team and for the Goodyear manufacturer together. Like Chris Bouchard not here tonight, because he'd be running these tires ragged by the end. But another one that likes to run this thing a little bit rough is Matthew Simmons, involved in that earlier incident, and obviously back in second last to restart this race, but already up to 6th place. And he's one that doesn't mind getting up on the wheel and trying to run this thing hard. But he's right now behind Jake Lesh, trying to run him down for the top 5. But a bit of a 4-car breakaway here. Lesh, when he let Stouffer by there, not sure if it was by design or not. It looked like he tried to stay up there and got in the wall a little bit on the front stretch, and that easily allowed the 13 to go on by. But since then, the 51 has kept it off the wall and trying to get back in the mix here, but it seems like he's just losing that pack just a little bit.
Yeah, when you have a bobble or a mistake, the car really does kind of get out of shape, and it becomes a very challenging thing to do. But you have to wrangle the car back in, kind of be easy with it, and not continue to overwork the car. You overheat them tires, they get greasy, slippery, got no grip. These cars are hungry for grip all the time. They got the power to put down some serious speed, but it's really just utilizing that throttle control to manage it, so you don't spin it out, you don't get around, you don't get loose coming off the corner. But right now, that's what Jake Lesh is doing. I think he's just kind of hanging in there. He knows he's got some faster cars in front of him, and he's trying to hold on, and hopefully for a good finish here tonight. But right now, doing a pretty decent job sitting there in Pete at number 5, and at number 51 behind his tail is that 49 Matthew Simmons, looking to get back to the front.
And you see how long it takes just to kind of set up a pass and really work a pass. I know these guys certainly don't want to run the tires too ragged here on this long run, but it really takes kind of a few laps and really kind of feeling out your competitor to see where they're making a mistake, or where you can really gain on them to just even get any kind of a decent run. Because we've seen JP Phillips, he had a look to the inside of Andrew Ratcliffe, but really only got to about his door, and decided, it's not worth fighting this hard for the lead this early, and kind of had it back out of it. You see Grady Gherkin all over the backside of that 22, but just kind of hanging in line. He knows that it's a long game here, and he's just got to kind of keep these guys right here in line. And you never know how much Andrew Ratcliffe really has left pace-wise. As he pushes in that car, it looks like he is getting into the wall there a little bit. But maybe he's just kind of backing up this field here a little bit, as it's allowing Christopher to make this a 4-car breakaway.
Yeah, Christopher really hanging on the coattails, and it can be just that difficult to make the pass. But you can see right there in the back there, Matthew Simmons looking down to the inside, but maybe just lost control a little bit coming out the corner, loses a little bit of ground on the 51, but I think he might be seeing the relative maybe going down just a little bit. The 51 and the 49 are slowly catching up to the back of that back four. Justin Kirby, obviously a little rough start there, but working that number 58 forward. And Justin's been one to kind of take it easy, and you kind of see the 58 usually come alive later in the runs and working his way to the front of the field. So I've watched that number 58 silently come to life here as well. Lap number 24, 128. Andrew Ratcliffe out front over J.P. Phillips. Grady Gherkin sitting in third. Christopher and Jake Lester, top five.
Listen, a shout out to everybody out there watching tonight. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. And I also want to send some condolences. It was just it was last year, the year before, that we lost the Auto Club Speedway, and it's already been transformed and has plenty of warehouses there, unfortunately, where the track used to be. But it looks like another California track is going to be heading by the wayside, and that is the Irwindale Speedway, short track out there in California, and another one that is having their farewell season this season. It looks like their last race on November 8th that was almost the end of the race there for the 13. Good save right there and controlling that thing, going to lose his position, but didn't lose the car, which he almost did.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one there, and we'll go ahead and we'll just look here. Oh man, that's
too far.
That's way too far. Let's cut back here. This one right here.
That was almost last week's race right there.
Yeah, I was really looking forward here, just because you see Jake Stouffer just kind of getting loose, go out the corner, saving it, and Jake Lester being able to make that pass. So yeah, definitely a good save there by the number 13. Definitely not what he wanted in losing, that top four, but still able to keep going here tonight, and it's very early in this race.
Yeah, still plenty of time here as we're just getting up to the point where it'll be 100 laps to go, but should be looking at a 2 pit stop race here based on what we've heard from the fuel strategy, even with that early caution. But out front, we've gotten a bit of a breakaway here. Not sure if Andrew Ratcliffe is backing up this field or not, but either way, he's found a little bit more pace here these last couple laps, and as this run starts getting a little deeper, this 9 is starting to check out a little bit, and it's not what we're used to seeing. Normally, it's kind of the opposite here with Andrew Ratcliffe. Normally, he runs it hard and gets a nice lead in the beginning, and then everybody seems to reel him back in on that long pace, but maybe the little homework here tonight on Darlington, maybe he just feels comfortable to just run real nice and easy those first few laps since he had the lead, and knows how tough it is to pass here, and now just getting on that loud pedal a little bit more. And Grady Gherkin had a look there briefly under J.P. Phillips, but it is still Ratcliffe, Phillips, Gherkin, your top 3, and then Les Stouffer make up the top 5, Simmons, Kirby, Miak, Glass, and Bolster round out the top 10.
Yeah, so we got a couple groups of 3 running around here, and then you got Brent Kirby in P number 7 trying to catch up to the P number 6 and keep moving that number 58 back to the front. Steven back there in P number 8 kind of chilling by himself, and sometimes this is a good spot, Carl. You're back there, and maybe if you're not real comfortable with the car, trying to still learn it, just nobody really close to you in the front of you, so no giving you any dirty air, nobody behind you giving any pressure with the 95 and doing what he needs to do here. So far tonight, sitting in P number 8, Tim Glass being there in P number 9, and then he has that same opportunity, and then it's Scott Bolster with that 45 Skibidoo machine. And it looks like Scott's got a little bit of right front damage, so maybe meeting that wall. And I'll go ahead and see down a little rut row, Shaggy. And yep, just a little bit. See, Darlington has claimed its mark on that number 45, so he'll be looking forward to that pit stop here. And with it, probably more than likely being a two pit stop strategy, Carl. Are you splitting this thing in equal quadrants?
I think I'm leaning towards that one because it should get you a little bit of a short pit and give you that advantage. You know, that maybe Grady Gherkin needs to get around Phillips, or Phillips needs to get around Ratcliffe, and so on and so forth. But also it gets you those fresher tires a little bit earlier, and unless there's the slightest chance that I can really stretch this thing out and maybe make it on one stop, which I don't see that happening, or if I'm considering on that second pit stop, you know, going long enough into the first one, long enough into the second one, that maybe on that last pit stop I decide not to take tires or only take right side tires, which I don't think so. I don't recommend. So ultimately, at least me, yeah, I'm leaning on trying to split this thing up evenly, and especially here, it's a mile and a third here at Darlington. You're probably going to go down a lap, even if you're, you know, second, third up here, you know, even if you're the leader coming in, you're probably going to go down a lap coming into the pits, but it's not like you're going to have a threat of going down multiple laps like you do at some other tracks and really kind of catch you out. If you go down a lap here and then all of a sudden the caution comes out in the middle of the pit strategy, you're going to get the wave around at the very least, if not get the lucky dog. So you're not really out of it if something kind of bad happens when you take that early pit stop. So I think it's all, of course, up to the drivers when they feel like they absolutely need to come in, and I'm sure they're looking at those lap times and seeing how much time they're losing, and it's quite a bit. I mean, your fastest laps of the race are in the high 29s, and right now everybody in the mid 31s. So does that tell you that fresh tires mean a little bit here tonight?
Just a little bit, even with the cooler temperatures. As you can see, that track temperature only 86 degrees. You know, it's essentially almost an optimal track. Nice and cool temperatures here at Darlington tonight. And you've seen Andrew Ratcliffe have that little bit of bobble, kind of shrank his lead down just a little bit. He's got a little Darlington stripe on that front right here early on. And that number 22 and 46 still right there, waiting for maybe another bobble by the 9 of Andrew Ratcliffe in order to maybe make it easier pass. But we should start seeing kind of pit stops coming up here soon, I would believe. Obviously, we're sitting at lap number 37, 128. Andrew Ratcliffe still out front, or JP Phillips and Grady Gherkin. Christopher is back there still in P number 4. And the 49 of Matthew Simmons has not been able to get around. But closing that back bumper is that number 58 of Justin Kirby. He's sitting in P number 6 now. So back to where he started and trying to work that 58. And like I said, just kind of quietly getting that 58 forward here, as you can see that long run work to their favor. And let's see here. I think I thought I seen somebody. Did somebody pit? Yep, Scott Bolster did. Scott Bolster came in there at lap number 35 for that number 45, as those drivers couldn't make the pass as he comes back out.
Yeah, and pretty interesting considering Scott Bolster was one of those two that came in early. Actually, sorry, no, that was Justin Kirby. That was one of the ones that came in early. So, yeah, still, I think it's kind of early. Certainly on the early end here, but maybe that damage for Scott Bolster was really kind of hampering his race here, his handling, whatever it might be. But an early pit stop here for Scott Bolster, he can, I'm sure, still make it on 2 long runs here, but we'll get an idea of how much the speed difference is once he gets back up to speed here. But man, we got a gaggle of cars right here, and all under a blanket here, all 4 position.
Yeah, and here comes the number 58. Been able to get around Christopher, and Matthew Simmons. Matthew Simmons in the wall. Oh, he's able to hold it up there. Nice save, but that thing held on tight up there in the turns number 3 and 4. Definitely lost a lot of time there as that pass was made. So we'll go back to that pass there for P number 4 here. We'll go ahead right here on lap number 40. You can see that number 58 working his way down underneath. And he's going to slide up just a little bit. They don't touch at all. Oh,
initially.
58. Yep.
Yeah.
58 just a little bit. got loose that front end.
And it's tough. I mean, we talked about before, passing here is not easy, and I don't want to say that was a forced pass, but there's times where you get down in there and you have to kind of ride right on the edge and try and do everything you can to essentially force that other driver to back out of it a little bit, because the guy that's on the high side is going to be a little bit slower entering the corner, but he's going to be that much faster exiting the corner. So if you don't complete that pass by mid-corner, you're going to end up losing that position once again, and you're going to have to regroup and fight them once again. But we got another earlier pit stop here. This is Grady Gherkin coming in from third place. Maybe trying a bit of a short pit here. It's only on lap number 42 coming to it. So this is right around that time where you're certainly thinking about coming in here to split this thing up into threes.
Yeah, he's about at that mark, to kind of split it up. We talked about it here, who was going to come and do that, but it looks like even Andrew Ratcliffe noticed what was going on. It's going to be like, nope, I don't want to get short pit on. One lap might be just enough Grady Gherkin needs, but with them two battling for points and being teammates, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Do you help your teammate? You're both doing really well, and you're battling for the points lead for the season. So how much are you actually sharing? But the more drivers down in the pits right now, though, you got Justin Kirby in the 58, Jake Lesh, Tim Glass as well coming down to get to fresh tires, but JP Phillips is still out there out front, and you're going to see the 22, I think, fall back just a little bit here as those drivers get done with their pit stops and come in. But right now he's going to go ahead and lead this thing. You see Scott Bolster right behind him, trying to get one of his get back on that lead lap.
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, with Andrew Ratcliffe and Grady Gherkin that much ahead of everybody else, I think, I don't want to say gloves are off just yet, but yeah, they're still teammates. They're still going to share the Discord channel, but I think there'll be a lot less information shared going to this point in the season, because we got a championship to run for here. But the short pit by one lap from Grady Gherkin was enough to get him ahead of Andrew Ratcliffe. And looking at the pit times, it was a little bit longer for Andrew Ratcliffe, 14.5 by Grady Gherkin compared to 15.1 for Andrew Ratcliffe. But it's a sizable gap. You see it right there on your screen. It's a good amount that Grady Gherkin is not only taking the lead, but really stretched this thing out. We'll see how far behind JP Phillips is going to come out, because he is still out there on the track and running this thing dry.
Yeah, he's really waiting for that. I think that the caution flag to fly. They don't fly very often here at UCRL. Only lap 2 when Carl joins us the first thing from the get-go. But yeah, right now JP Phillips out there leading this thing. Grady Gherkin looking to take back over, but closing in quickly on that 22 to get back on that lead lap. So you can see Grady Gherkin just coming out of the corner as JP is going through the other. So the speed is tremendously different at the moment, as Grady Gherkin's last lap time was a 29.76 to JP Phillips's 31.80. So a whole 2 seconds slower.
JP just maybe trying that off strategy and maybe going long for this one, going long for the second one, and seeing how it plays out for that last pit stop. Again, maybe he decides not to take any tires and just a little splash and dash to get him to the end. But he's certainly going to be losing time right now, but then once he comes out, he's going to have those fresher tires and should be able to make up some time. You see right now, Grady Gherkin, the lead that he has on Andrew Ratcliffe is slowly diminishing as Ratcliffe is running just slightly faster right now, by about a tenth of a second faster. But either way, it is faster, and there was just one lap newer tires here for Andrew Ratcliffe. So when JP Phillips comes back out, as he is in the pits right now, we'll see those times even lower, and we'll see him possibly try and reel these guys right back in.
Yeah, and Andrew Ratcliffe obviously was fast before he he came in and was fast when he came back out, and hopefully he just realizes that he knows that he's a little bit quicker and continues to maintain them tires to catch back up to Grady and to get back around him, as that last lap there was a little bit slower as he's trying to track down. You can see Ratcliffe is pulling away from Justin Kirby, but that time, last time around there, something just happened there on lap 50. That was JP Phillips getting in the mix because he went in the pits. There he goes. And so Justin Kirby moving into P number 3. So pit strategy worked to his favor. Obviously, you've seen the 58 coming to life at the end there. Made a bunch of passes. Inadvertently got into it with Matthew Simmons. But Matthew Simmons recovering nicely there with the number 49 coming out there and still in P number 5.
And how about the mix-up at the top? Grady Gherkin, now your leader. Andrew Ratcliffe in second, but Christopher and Justin Kirby, actually Justin Kirby in third, and then Christopher in fourth, both ahead, and even Matthew Simmons in fifth, ahead of JP Phillips. So, I mean, I get the idea of going long here, and you're going to have those fresher tires, which you're going to be able to reel these guys in. But again, we've seen how difficult it is to pass here, and I feel like that's where the short pitting, their early pit stops here from these guys is going to mean so much more, because you don't have to make those passes. The short pit and those few laps out there, even it being one lap, is enough to run faster and gain that position on the track, instead of having to work for 2, 3, 4 laps to try and even set up a pass to get somebody in front of you.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to make the pass in the pits than it is on the track here. You can see how difficult it was a few times as JP Phillips was trying to get around Andrew Ratcliffe for the lead. Just couldn't make it happen. Grady Gherkin just figured to go in for a good pit stop, gets that great pit stop, and just that little bit of time in the pits. And getting out just a little bit earlier, obviously just a one lap undercut over Andrew Ratcliffe, was able to put him out front. So now it's up to Andrew to catch him and then get back around. You can see the 49 stepping out just a little bit there as number 22 is catching up to him. And that will be for P number 5 when this pass attempt goes down here.
And Matthew Simmons in on lap number 44, JP Phillips in on lap number 50. And you see how quickly JP was able to catch Matthew Simmons, and does he have the grip to get on past? I mean, he is going to have the grip to get on past that 49 right now, but Matthew Simmons still has that bit of damage on the front end from hitting the wall earlier. Not sure if he used his faster pair on that first incident or what the case was, but a battle brewing here for third place. Justin Kirby up there in the 58-13 of Christopher, looking for a way around, but these guys are going to have a mirror full of JP Phillips here just in a couple laps.
Yeah, I mean, JP's coming. So it's trying to, and I know the 58 is on more of a long strategy, so if the 13 makes it by the 58 here early, I can see that happening, but I think he's carrying enough speed. It's just going to make it difficult for the 13 to get around, and 58 is going to just kind of maintain. So if the 22 gets a little more aggressive, I think he'll let him go by. Just as I think Justin is just on that little bit longer game, trying to make those tires be a little better. You see the move there by the 22 in the inside of Christopher, trying to get this pass made. Can JP make it by Christopher and Justin Kirby?
And this is what JP Phillips needs to do. He needs to be a bit aggressive here. He's got those fresher tires. He's got to try and make these passes as soon as he can, so that we can keep that advantage when he catches up to those guys in the top 3. Well, I mean, he's got third place right here in his sights, not Justin Kirby, but the top 2 are 10, almost 11 seconds ahead of right now the third place of JP Phillips. We're going to have a yellow, though, as Stouffer gets into the 58 of Kirby.
Yeah, Christopher trying to take advantage of that the door opening there for JP Phillips, and this is going to erase that 10 seconds, and it's going to also throw in, that option should I come in and get tires and whatnot, but some heavy damage for the 58. Scathed the incident there with Matthew Simmons, but he's going to sit there and wait until he's going to go ahead and tow it there, bring that 58 in, so maybe calling it for the night, take that 58 back to the hauler, and just be back next week. But tough break there for Justin Kirby, and that number 58 at least has been a good run. But we'll go ahead and take one more look at what happened there as the 22 was going by. The 13 tried to make it happen, but got into the left rear corner of the 58. 58 gets into the wall as the 13 goes by. So tough break for the 58. Like I said, he rolls it down off the track and takes it down into the pits and off to the hauler. So we will see that number 58 back out either later tonight or next week. But right now, we're under caution here at Darlington.
Yeah, it looks like he did end up calling it a night, disconnected from the server here. But I'm not sure who this hurt more on the pit stops here, or on the caution here, because again, Grady Gherkin, JP Phillips were 11 seconds ahead of Grady Gherkin and Andrew Ratcliffe were 11 seconds ahead of JP Phillips, but JP Phillips had those fresh tires and just got into third and was about to start running these guys down. Now it throws everything out the window. Any kind of strategies, everybody's back on that same strategy, but a move for first place. Andrew Ratcliffe able to get a quicker pit stop this time than Grady Gherkin. He retakes the lead. JP Phillips is going to be in third. Christopher, Scott Bolster, now your top five. Then you got Jake Lish, David Mioch, Matthew Simmons still in the pit lane. Then Tim Glass for the 9 cars that are still going to be running out there. But this thing it really kind of shook things up, and now essentially it's a half a race that we got going here. We're just close to that halfway mark, and it's still going to be a pit stop that needs to be done here in the second half, but it kind of puts everybody back on that same level playing field.
Yeah, and now just kind of, how long are they going to be out there? It won't be, out there for 40 laps this time. Will it be, will they split it in half because they know they have to pit one more time, or somebody going to stay out there and try to run it out to, the 50-some laps. So it's going to be an interesting one. I don't think they're going to make it the rest of the way. Like I said, I think they're going to be out here for a long time, but they're going to be, have to execute one more pit stop here tonight at Darlington. And right now, Andrew Ratcliffe with that huge jump, making that pass there over Grady Gherkin in the pits here. So it's going to be tough for that 46 to get by. So going to be fun to watch to see if that 46 is going to go ahead and try to get by, or if he's just going to hang on the coattails of that 9, as we are only at the halfway mark here at Darlington.
Given how tough it's been to actually make a pass here and make a clean pass tonight, with this race being basically half the distance now, coming up on the halfway mark here soon, I'm really looking to wins the early second come in. Like, I know we talked about kind of splitting it in thirds, and here you could split it in half if you wanted to, and come in around lap 90, 95 to kind of split this last run in half. But I'm almost looking at it that these tires matter so much, and they start dropping off so quickly. I may be looking at it as, if it's a 50-lap run, once we get to 50 laps less, or 50 laps left in the race, or maybe even 45, I'm coming in. If I can get out there and get some clean air and run some good laps there, I'm going to gain so much on everybody else until they come into the pits and really kind of force their hand a little bit early. But we'll see how it all plays out. It is Andrew Ratcliffe, Grady Gherkin on the front row, JP Phillips, Chris Stouffer making up that second row as the pace car is in. And Andrew Ratcliffe back on the loud pedal. We are racing again at Darlington.
Hey, Sam, getting a little wobbly in the back, and that was the 49 of Matthew Simmons trying to get on that throttle. So not being able to execute that, getting as much grip as he wants from the rip. So he's going to lose a few spots there. But Tim Glass little loose. Grabs that wall out there, but keeps him going forward. So, but that definitely scared the 51 just a little bit. Allows the 49 to close in on the 51 of Jake Lesh. Back here for Pete, number 7. Everybody in front of these two is single file at the moment. We'll jump on the hood of Matthew Simmons as he would like to get around the 51. He's just had a bad start there, Carl.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a bad start or if he knew he was a little damaged, so he pulled down to the bottom, but seems to have gathered it back up here a little bit as the 51 touches the wall, gets a little squirrely going to the 3 as well. Somehow gathers that thing back up, but you see it's already angry enough that Matthew Simmons now going to look to the outside to try and make this pass for 7th position, but Jake Lesh not just going to roll over and give it to him. He's going to make him fight for it, and that's exactly what Simmons is trying to do here. Big bobble again, and now Simmons going to try the inside here going into 3. Oh, and there is another incident. Yellow not out yet.
Still
and we'll see if they manually throw out the yellow here. It looks like we may end up staying green. As Simmons tried to get up under the 51 there, but just ran a little bit too hard, a little bit too deep, and came across the nose.
That was just a little bit too much. Car drifts up, and you know, same thing. So 49 up on the wall. Tough break for the 49 here tonight. Getting in that incident there. Surprised that iRacing didn't call it a caution, but we are still green here at Darlington. We are on lap number 68 with Andrew Ratcliffe out front over Grady Gherkin, still sitting on their coattails. JP Phillips falling in suit there in P number 3. Christopher having a great run. It's currently sitting in P number 4. You can see him hanging on for dear life. Oh, you can see the 95. Steven doing the same thing. So, as Scott Bolster quietly moves back up into P number 6. Get that 45 fixed just a little bit and get it running the way maybe he likes. Tim Glass back there in P7, and I believe Jake Lesh is down in the pits after that one.
Yeah, Lesh in pit lane, so that leaves us with only 8 cars on the track currently. But Andrew Ratcliffe is the one leading the way. And now that we're down to 60 laps to go, Jimmy, I think it's about time to let these engines roar and give everyone out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it.
Love to hear it. like typical fashion here with UCRL, the sights and sounds and everything kind of going pretty good at the moment. The 49 getting back out there and some damage, just kind of I think right at the moment just damage control, trying to see if he can finish this thing out with a decent finish. Obviously with Brent Kirby and Justin Kirby out at the moment. Matthew Simmons is still sitting in P number 6. And that's over Tim Glass and Stephen Miyakos. They've been having their challenges getting around here tonight, along with that 51 of Jake Lesh. So things still kind of up in the air. So even with that banged up 49, Matthew Simmons is still having a pretty decent run. But the guy having the run that he would like to have and needs is Andrew Ratcliffe, following closely. And number 46 of Grady Gherkin. Sitting in P number 2, JP Phillips would love to get by. We've seen how hard it is to pass here. There's plenty of racing left as we're on lap 89 of 128.
Yeah, I know JP Phillips went long on that first run and went all the way to lap 50 before he came in, but I'm really surprised. We did have one taker to the pit so far. Stephen Miak already made his pit stop on lap number 81, but I'm really surprised we didn't have any takers up here in the top 3, and especially, I mean, if I'm JP Phillips right here, or Grady Gherkin, I mean, if I'm JP, I'm coming in there to try and get this pass done through the short pit here on Grady Gherkin. If I'm Grady Gherkin, I'm coming in just to get away from JP Phillips and possibly, reel in and maybe pass Andrew Ratcliffe along the way. But I feel like as soon as one of these guys ducks in to make that final pit stop, I think you'll see the other two come in as well. And here we go.
There it is.
Just got to mention it. And there it happened.
He's listening.
I think it's a good move here for the 22.
He's listening to the broadcast. JP Phillips got broadcaster strats tonight, followed with Tim Glass. Back there in P number 9, but still coming down. And you can see that right side definitely heavily painted by the lady.
Now we'll see if Andrew Ratcliffe and Grady Gherkin notice that 22. Ratcliffe does see that 22, and what a save.
Wow!
That's how you enter pit road, ladies and gentlemen. May have to untighten his sphincter after that one, but Ratcliffe gets into the pits and looks like he got it inside the cone, so shouldn't be a penalty for the 9, and you see the 46 right behind him as well. So the top 3 will have their pit stops done. Christopher stays out there for at least another lap, as does Scott Bolster, so that'll be your top 2 right now. But that was very, very sketchy and very close there for the 9, and could have really turn this race from a great race into a race that he'd soon be wanting to forget. But now we'll see where JP Phillips comes out here. If Phillips is able to get around Gherkin and or Andrew Ratcliffe on this pit cycle.
Yeah, definitely. He's coming down the front stretch now. And I believe, let's see, Gherkin is, I think he's going to make it around Gherkin. I think he's going to make it around Gherkin. Yep. The 22 will make the pass on the 46 with the undercut.
And if you notice the car that is not out there yet, that is the 9 of Andrew Ratcliffe. Penalty for the 9.
No.
Unsafe, there's unsafe entry or speeding up pit road, whatever it is. He is stuck on pit road right now and should just be finishing up his pit cycle here pretty soon. But there it is. 54-second pit stop, and a little squirrely coming out there too, but he is going to need some major help, and going to need at least one caution here to get back in the mix of this thing. But now it should be in the hands of the 22 JP Phillips, with Christopher and Scott Bolster still out there, still putting down some laps, and they wouldn't mind a caution at this point either.
No, definitely not. They're in a position to or be in a great position. Obviously, all the way down to P and number 6, where there's only 4 cars out there on the lead lap right now. So that's Christopher, Scott Bolster, JP Phillips, and Grady Gherkin. And then you have Steven back there in P number 5, a lap down. Matthew Simmons, a lap down, just went in the pits. Tim Glass, 2 laps down. Andrew Ratcliffe, 2 laps down. And Jake Lesh is at 3. So these few drivers that are still out here. Well, Christopher going to call the ball now, come down in. That's going to put the number 45 out front. Give him a lap lead for Scott Bolster. Let's give it to the 45.
Get some Scooby snacks.
Yeah, Scooby snacks, definitely. I was talking to Scott, and I just want to give a shout out to his kid having, I think, his tonsils removed. So definitely, little ones and being sick and sore and having procedures done that they'll thank themselves or later in life for sure. Lack of strep throat, could have been a thing for me if I would have got mine removed.
Well, Andrew Ratcliffe had to come down pit road one more time. Not sure what the case was, if he didn't get tires or what it was, but he came down pit road again on lap number 92 for another 14.5-second pit stop. So that is going to take him way out of this thing. He's even 3 laps down right now in 9th place. And, I mean, he's going to need some help just to be able to get a position or two with Jake Lesh and Tim Glass both 2 laps down, still a lap ahead of this 9. Oh, man, this thing really got switched up here. But now we take a look at that battle for the win as we've got about 30 laps to go. Actually, about 20 laps to go left in this thing. And it is, no, I was right.
30. You're right. 30 right now.
That's myself. But JP Phillips in the lead. He's got Grady Gurkin behind him because of that earlier pit stop. Came in on lap 90. Gurkin came in on lap number 91, and that's paying off for the lead right now for the 22. But Stephen Miak pit way back on lap number 81. He is currently in 3rd. With Christopher now made his pit stop. He is out there in 4th, about 9 seconds back. But I think that 9 seconds is going to fly down.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and put up the interval, and that's the distance between each driver there, so you can kind of see what's going on. Why we'll go. Like white is obviously over a second. Yellow is between a second and a half a second, and then it will turn red when it gets under a half a second. So you watch closely as these drivers race around here, the final laps. As this thing is starting to wind down to the end. But where's your favorite driver running? Who do you got for winning this race as things have decided to mix it up? We all know that Barry's out there rooting for that number 46, 4-8, another great finish. But will it be the 22, the 46, or maybe the number 13 or even the 45 come out with a victory here tonight? So who do you got?
Yeah, taking a look at that distance already between Miak and Stouffer. Stouffer's already cut it down to 6.5 seconds and is closing very, very fast there to get himself up into the top 3. And you wonder if he's got anything for those top guys. Again, he pit on lap number 95. The top guys pit on lap number 90 and 91, so certainly got some fresher tires, and right now is one of the fastest cars out there on the track, but he's going to need a Herculean effort to catch up to Phillips and Gurkin as they are about 14 seconds ahead of Stephen Miak right now. So it'll be a lot to try and catch him with 28 laps left in this race, but we've seen stranger things, and it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but you got to feel for Andrew Ratcliffe. I mean, he did everything to try and get into the pits as fast as he could, and unfortunately, it was just a little too fast and out of control, and it's taken him completely out of this race.
Yeah, it's one of the things, drivers are out there and they adjust brake bias, and it comes down to pit entry, and they forget to readjust their brake bias. So basically what happens is they end up moving that brake bias to the rear to help this thing rotate around the corners while they're racing, and then when they try to get heavy in the brakes coming down the pits, you just lose all grip, and it sends the rear end around. He did a great job saving it, just was not able to slow that 9 machine down, costing what looks to be the race here tonight, and moving him farther back in the points. I know Andrew's got a lot of wins, but with the bad race at Suzuka and what looks to be a bad race here at Darlington at one of his favorite tracks is not what he had in mind.
No, not at all, and tied with Grady Gurkin for the most wins of the season, both coming in here with 3 wins. But 4 is not on the cards for Andrew Ratcliffe here tonight. It is in the cards for Grady Gherkin, and he has reeled in JP Phillips. It is down to 0.14, and you see it right there. And your former top 3 are right on top of each other, and it looks like Andrew Ratcliffe going to play. Maybe, I was going to say, maybe play a part in this as we blank out there for a second. But Andrew Ratcliffe now up in the middle of these guys, trying to get one of his laps back, and he's not doing this to mix it up. He's not doing this to try and help his teammate. I mean, I don't think. He's trying to do this to try and catch up to Jake Lesh, and that's for position. But he is 10 seconds ahead right now. With 24 laps to go, he is running faster than Jake Lesh, but it's still going to take a lot to catch him. But he's got to get around JP Phillips right now and looks to the inside. I'm sure Phillips is going to give him as much room as possible, but he doesn't want to give up that position to Gherkin as gets a little sideways. And this could be an opportunity for that 46 to look to the inside, and he is going to do so. He's going to peek. Does he have any kind of run going through 1 and 2? And Phillips into the wall. He will have the run. Phillips making a mistake, trying to stay high, and Gherkin to the lead.
And just opportunity presented itself for the 46, and JP, being the clean driver that he is, chose to stick it to the wall, to not get into his competitors, and allows the 46 to squeak on by. So move Grady Gherkin out front over JP Phillips. Christopher still sitting back there in P03. Steven Mioch back there has fallen to P at number 4 as Christopher has made it by. As Scott Bolster is sitting in P number 5, looking to charge up, maybe catch a 95 as well. So plenty of time for some of these drivers to make some moves. Got 21 laps to go.
Yeah, nice move indeed, as Gherkin is going to take back over the lead. And we talk about the points, coming down to the end here. This is a big hurt piece, and it could end up being a drop race for Andrew Ratcliffe, so maybe not going to lose as much points as, a first compared to a last, and he's still trying to salvage it a little bit. Maybe he can get up to Jake Lesh and make one more pass for position, as he is reeling him in and is about a second faster than him a lap right now, so certainly has a chance to get up to that 51 and make the pass. But man, it's just a tough break, and one that he could look back on as possibly costing him the championship here this season, even with 5 races to go. But Grady Gherkin, the opportunist, is going to take over that lead with the mistake by JP Phillips. And man, this thing has had some. I know it's been a lot of follow the leader, and they may not have seen too much racing action on the track, but there's been a lot of storylines throughout this whole race so far.
Yeah, and they keep changing, from lap to lap, and from the bad start at the beginning, it kind of threw the put a ripple in the wavelengths of these drivers. Very, very clean set of tracks that they've raced throughout the past 3-4 weeks, and this is the first time we've had cautions come out, and but we kind of knew it was kind of coming. This track is not an easy drive. I've been here, I've raced this track, and the only car that I felt okay with was a Radical, and even then, plenty of downforce to get around here, but them corners are not nice, and it's definitely a challenging thing, especially to get these Gen 4 cars around here. But right now, JP trying to close in Grady Gherkin there. You can see the interval going down to yellow there just a little bit as he is trying to make up that time there with only 16 laps to go. So plenty of time to do so, but can he do it?
Yeah, certainly not out of it just yet, as the lead down to 0.83 right now, and now creeping under to the 0.7. So JP Phillips is definitely faster by about a tenth a second a lap here, so not out of the realm that he can get himself back up here and have a chance at this win. But Christopher is another one that's opportunistic and looking at a podium here tonight with that later pit stop than everybody else, all the way out there in lap 95. But Scott Bolster looking to make a pass as well. He is now within about a second second and a half to Stephen Miak, who is now, you see right there in front of him. This is the battle for 4th place.
Yeah, and Steven came in there at lap 81, so Scott's got 15th lap newer tires, so it's just all a matter of time. Can Scott get that set up? You can see Matthew Simmons going in
there's his opportunity.
Decides to go to that inside. Steven is starting to have troubles with only 14 laps to go.
To move Bolster up to 4th place, Miak back to 5th. And the other battle, other than for the lead that we're looking at, is back there as Andrew Ratcliffe trying to reel in Jake Lesh, which is now going to be a battle for 7th position as Matthew Simmons in the pits again will give up a spot. But that lead now down to about a half a second.
Yeah, down to yellow, looking to go orange. And finally going to try to go into red, but JP trying to track down that 46 of Grady Gherkin with 12 laps to go. Like I said, he has the time to do it. Can he catch him? Can he get around him? Is the 45 going to play into this? Is he going to hold up the 46 of Grady Gherkin? There's so many things that can happen here, especially with lap traffic. Carl, I mean, anything is possible. For the opportunity for that 22 to make it around, but not that where you're tagging the wall. There's a lady in black looking to add a couple of stripes to the side of that 22, but the 46 is going to make the move while the 22 of JP Phillips bobbles just a little bit, and he's not going to be able to make that pass on the 45. The same move, or maybe is he?
Well, this is exactly what we've had before, situations where the leader is the first one to catch up to these lap cars, and he usually has the hardest time getting around lap cars. Doesn't matter who it is. Just if you're the leader, you're the first one on the scene. Sometimes a lap car's not paying attention. Sometimes they're not looking at the relative. Sometimes they're just battling and trying to stay on that lead lap. But usually once they get past, then they concede a little bit easier to that 2nd and 3rd place car. So it's a little bit quicker for them to get around. And it would have been a lot closer than it is right now. But JP Phillips making that issue again with getting up a little bit too high in 3 and 4, scraping that wall, and now he's going to have to gain all of that time back that he gained previously. It's back out to over a second, but he is still on the move and already digging and getting it under a second.
Yeah, there's another battle brewing here. As you can see, the numbers went yellow there for Jake Lesh to Tim Glass, trying to move up one spot there, but Andrew Ratcliffe still on the move, looking to maybe get 2 spots here. If he might have time. He's got 3 seconds and 9 laps, and I don't know if he quite has the tires to catch up to these two.
Well, we're about to find out how this all plays out. Under 10 laps to go, 9 to go right now. It's going to be 8 as they cross the line, but Gherkin still controlling this race. The lead is starting to shrink once again. JP Phillips on another run. We'll see if he can get close this time, and it doesn't look like any lap cars are going to come into play anytime soon. You got the 13 of Christopher up the road just a little bit, but I don't think they're going to catch him in these next couple laps at least, unless Stouffer has some kind of issues. So this is maybe the last chance, the last run that JP Phillips has to catch up to that 46 and try and make one more attempt at the win here tonight. Both of these drivers have been very well here tonight, and both of them deserving of this win. But it's only going to go to 1, and man, that number 22 is on the move, especially going into corners. He really kind of drives in there and drives in there hard. Loses a little bit in the mid corner, but then gains a little bit right back on the exit. But does anywhere present an opportunity of passing is the question.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we're seeing it here, and I'm sure when we talk to these drivers, and it's going to take mistakes. You can see the 46 just tagging the wall just a little bit, but that could be enough that just little tag to allow the opportunity. But JP is wheeling back there in that 22, trying to catch back up, trying to get the run, and he's really putting a lot of pressure on them tires. Does he have enough left in these next 5 laps to get around the 46? It's just something we just got to kind of wait and see, or see if the 46 is going to make a mistake. But we're going to go back and check on Andrew Ratcliffe, as he has now caught the 51 of Jake Lesh back here in P number 7. So trying to get a 6th place finish here tonight, and definitely was looking forward to possibly a win here, as it went to shambles, as a crazy save turned into too fast of a pit entry, leading to a penalty. So tough break there for the 9, of course, but here trying to savor a decent run here tonight. So maybe this won't be his drop race. Maybe he'll have a worse race to be dropped here for the season for their points tally. But yeah, back up front, only a half a second separates the 46 of Grady Gherkin and the 22 at JP Phillips.
Yeah, one thing that Andrew Ratcliffe is going to drop regardless is drop more points to Grady Gherkin here. If this is a drop race or not, he's going to lose out some more points, and losing out here coming out of 2. That was a rough exit there for the 22, as he's putting everything into it, and literally everything into it, and the wall right there. And at 3 and 4, that might have kind of been as his last-ditch effort to try and reel in this 46, as we have now got 3 laps to go here at Darlington. Or is it 2 laps to go?
2 laps to go.
If I'm alive here, yeah, 2 laps to go. There we go. And it looks like it's Grady Gherkin's to lose here at this point. Andrew Ratcliffe has gotten around Jake Lesh, as you see it right there. So good battle back to at least get a couple positions here. Again, he was back there in 9th before Matthew Simmons came in the pits. Tim Glass, he passed on track, and then just getting Jake Lesh right there. But white flag in the air for the 46, looking to get another win here on the season, looking to grab win number 4, and looking to grab a bigger points lead is Grady Gherkin, and he's been in the right spot here tonight. It looked like he kind of fell behind a little bit on the first round of pit stops, and it seemed like it was going to be a tough battle to get around JP Phillips, but the second round of pit stops worked out very nicely, and obviously the issues for Andrew Ratcliffe, but no matter, it is the 46 in victory lane here tonight at Darlington. Great run by the 22 JP Phillips. He's going to come home in second. 13 of Christopher coming around, and he will end up finishing tonight in 3rd place. A great podium here for Stouffer. Scott Bolster, a nice finish as well, as he brings the Scooby-Doo machine home in 4th place. Stephen Miak grabs the top 5. Then you got Ratcliffe, Lesh, Glass, Simmons, and Justin Kirby rounding out that top 10. But Jimmy, this thing, it felt like it was as long as a novel, and it had about as many chapters as a novel does. This thing just went back and forth with so many different storylines throughout the entire race.
Yeah, and just kept everybody kind of on their toes. You never know what was kind of going to happen. Pit entry is always a thing, and it's not something you see Andrew mess up very often. Just one of those nights for him. Didn't go his way, and I think this was the first week I didn't say anything about pit entry, to be honest. It come down to it. It was a deciding factor here tonight on your winner.
Yeah, it's funny because this is probably one of the toughest pit roads to get on in all of motorsports. This is a very, very difficult pit road to get onto. I mean, the next closest one I can think of is maybe Dover, is very difficult as well. But this is really tough to get onto, and that's why you've seen a lot of guys entering turn 3 were already kind of slowed down and already getting down on that apron and driving on the bottom of the track all the way around just to be nice and safe coming in there. Clearly, that's not what Andrew Ratcliffe was doing there. He was trying to maximize everything possible, but either way, his teammate is the one that is in victory lane that one more time, and it's just going to make that run for the championship that much tougher for Ratcliffe. But we've seen he has the speed this season, so we'll see what he can do in the last 5 races. But we got our top three ready to get some interviews, or at least we do got a whole top three here in the waiting room and ready to get some interviews. But man, I think it's safe to say the Lady in Black was certainly out there with her clothes tonight.
Yeah, Lady in Black definitely was a big deciding factor in where some of these drivers decided to finish. And obviously your top three here, we're going to bring in Grady Gherkin, JP Phillips, and Chris Stouffer. So we're going to get this firsthand and their experience on here tonight.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and Jimmy, we'll go ahead and start with the third place finish here tonight, the 13 of Chris Stouffer.
Hey, Chris, Jimmy Carl in the booth. You copy?
Yeah.
Well, you round this thing out tonight here with some great pit stops and you're able to get that good old P number 3 here tonight with some unfortunate luck from others, but you don't want to shortchange yourself as you had a great run, some great saves, and definitely probably a fun-filling night here at Darlington. So give us a little rundown of your evening.
Well, I didn't qualify well. Got the wall in qualifying, so started a little bit further back than I would have liked, and made my way up front. And then, like you said, I started getting loose and having to save it, and then I got the wall a couple times, which slowed me down. And then I accidentally took my fast repair, came back out, and got the wall real good. So came real familiar with hitting the wall, and luckily, somehow I wound up third. I had no idea. I'm just riding around. Next thing you know, race ends. I look down. I'm third. I thought I was going to finish fourth. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but I'll take it.
Yeah, a little unfortunate events up front. Obviously making it a little bit easier to get on that podium, but you start off great and you're kept on the coattails there of the leaders sitting in P number 4. And I've been out this racetrack myself a few times and definitely know the pain of racing out here and how hard it can be. But either way, you come away tonight in third place. So, another great finish for that number 13. So we want to say congratulations and give you a little time for any shouts that you may have on that number 13.
No, thank you. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting us each week, and then Scott for putting on the league and everybody. Shout out to 4D Racewear. Go to 4dracewear.com for boots and gloves for swimwear. It's pretty nice stuff they've got, so check that out. Other than that, take third place, and hopefully we can continue to run strong next week.
You've definitely been having some great races. Again, congratulations, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
That is your third place finish here tonight, the 13 of Chris Stouffer. Second place is going to be the 22 of JP Phillips. And JP, a good run out here tonight. Welcome back here to the series, and you come back on a very difficult track here with Darlington. Is certainly not the easiest track to run, but you did well out there, and it looked like you were kind of in that catbird seat after the first round of pit stops. You take a one lap shorter pit stop, and then the short stop worked out for you to get the lead. Did you feel like you were in a good spot there, and just hoping and praying there wasn't a caution?
Yeah, I felt really good. I think I really had the first stop when I think I stopped almost 8 or 9 laps after they did, and then we got the caution, so that put me in behind Grady and Andrew, and so I knew that run. I just followed them the second run, and I knew I was just going to try to duck into the pits earlier than they were to get out in front of them, and yeah, I felt pretty good. I was saving there the last run. And Grady was catching me, and I knew he'd be tough. He was fast. He was fast all night. Andrew was fast all night. But I felt in control. Got in just a bad situation. Andrew was on newer tires, faster than us. I was trying to time that so he could get under me, and I had a good angle into the good angle through the center so I could get off good. And I felt I was in a good spot. Now, actually, I was talking to JK before the race and told him that seam up in 1 and 2, the top seam, if you got on it the wrong way, It was really weird. And if you watch the replay, that's what happened. I got both tires on that seam, and it just slung me up into the wall. Grady got around me. And then at that point, we already had 20 laps on the tires or something. It was, even if I got to his bumper, if I could have stayed out of the wall enough times to get back to his bumper, it was going to be nearly impossible to pass him. So a lot of fun, and I drove my guts out those last 20 laps trying to get back to his bumper. But glad to be back here. It's been a while. Driver keeps making a lot of mistakes, so glad there wasn't as many this week.
Well, I thought at one point, I mean, I know the lady in black is a fickle mistress, but it seemed like you owed her money there for a little bit. You were getting in the wall so much in 3 and 4. But, I mean, it's tough. I know you were putting everything out there to try and catch him, and you did. You mounted a couple charges there, and it looked like a couple times you were close enough that if it played out right, you may be able to get the pass done, and especially when both of you caught Scott Bolster there at the end. One of the lap cars, if you were really close to him, really closed in, and then all of a sudden, once again, 3 and 4 just kind of caught you up there, and it seemed like that was certainly the bugaboo out here tonight.
Yeah, I was so on edge, just trying to run fast enough to get back to him. It was if you missed the line by running that hard, if you missed the line by 6 inches, you're in the wall. And unfortunately, I just am not that good to hit that all the time. So, but it was a lot of fun. I really love racing Grady, and I guess Andrew said that he missed pit entry or something there. He obviously would have been right up there too. We all three had about the same pace.
Yeah, unfortunately, the 9 ended up getting a pit road penalty that put him way back in the field, but. It was kind of funny. We were talking, kind of early on in pre-race about the design of this track being dictated by a minnow pond, and I thought it'd been perfect for you to have the spider wire bait scheme on there. It just kind of worked out, and I thought, if he gets the win here, he's gonna have to have a talk with his sponsor. But either way, right. You come home in second place here tonight. So congrats on the second place. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, just shout out to you guys for sticking around here and broadcasting these things. It's still a lot of fun, and to the 9 or 10 guys that come out here and run every week. You get tracks like this, and you get guys like Andrew and Grady, and you can go out there and run bumper to bumper, lap after lap. It makes for a good evening. So appreciate it, guys. You guys have a good evening, and glad to be back up here talking to you.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, congrats again, and we'll let you go celebrate, and hopefully we see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
That's your second place finisher here tonight, the 22 of JP Phillips. Last but not least is your winner here tonight, the 46 of Grady Gherkin.
Hey, Grady, Jimmy and Carl, Nabuti Gabby.
I got you guys.
And you just continue to stretch that points lead over your teammate of Andrew Ratcliffe, and we talked a little bit about it earlier. We know your teammates and you share information back and forth, but are the gloves off for the final 5 races of the season?
Yeah, I mean, they're off, but we still share info and all that stuff too. So just out here to have a good fun race and all that good stuff. Andrew was the car to beat tonight. JP and I were fast. Stouffer was fast. But Andrew kind of went in too hot when he was coming in the pits, and he got a penalty for not hitting that commitment cone. So he kind of got himself in trouble there. So we were there to kind of take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it takes. So you guys are so competitive, so close in like skill, and just each and every track, it can be either one of y'all that comes away and steps on that very top podium here tonight, and you're able to do that again, and it's really starting to kind of pull that, like I said, that points lead over your teammate. But you had a good run out there. Is there anything that you could have done different, or were you even worried about JP just a little bit there at the end, as he was kind of closing you down just a little bit? But we know how hard it is to pass here.
Yeah, well, that was just it. When Andrew got behind me and he was a couple laps down, I let him go by, and I knew he was going to be, after JP after that. So I wanted to stay close. I took advantage of it into one, and then, things got crazy in there. I think JP got in the fence. So that gave me a little bit of a gap. And I ran him down before that, and I thought I was going to be okay, but I think he was kind of saving a little bit. And then once I got out to a couple second lead, he started running me back down, and I kind of thought I was in trouble. But just try to hit the marks. This track is kind of hard to navigate and get around without messing up. And, wheeling the car all night, it just sawing on the wheel, that was a lot of fun. But then I think he ended up burning his stuff up a little bit trying to get to me. So fortunate to hang on and get first place tonight. Like I said, I think Andrew was the car to beat. JP was real quick. If it all played out with no issues, I might have been third place, but you got to keep yourself in the hunt, and these things happen.
Yeah, definitely. That's what you did in that 46 here tonight. And we want to say congratulations here up in the booth, and congratulate you on your, I believe it's your 4th win of the season. Give you a little bit of time for any shouts you may have in that number 46 for tonight.
Yes, shout out to the teammates. Again, Barry tuning in. I see his comments out there. Appreciate it. Everybody else out there watching and supporting CRN and UCRL. Just you guys up there in the booth with the broadcast, you guys do a good job. It's fun to watch. And as always, thank you, Scott, for the setups and what he does for the league.
Again, congratulations, and we'll catch you next week, and hopefully we'll talk to you again.
That sounds good to me.
That is your winner here tonight. 4th win of the season for the 46 of Grady Gherkin, and stretching out his points lead for sure. I know we got a request to see the final lap there between Andrew Ratcliffe and Jake Lesh. So we'll take a look at how that all transpired, and we'll kind of wrap things up as we do. I mean, Jimmy, this was a tough one. I mean, this track here, that Darlington is. It's tough as is. It doesn't matter what cars you bring out here, I guess, other than the Radicals for you. But any other cars you bring out here, especially these Gen 4s, it's a tough track to get around. But these Gen 4s, I know Scott does wonders with the setups here to give these guys a car that they can handle, but also a car that they can get after each other and race with each other as well. And at a track like this, I know he typically puts it a little bit more on the freer side, a little bit more of the, that tail end to get a little happy. It can get sketchy, and it certainly did for a few of these drivers in turn 2 and 4 tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge for a lot of drivers out there. And you can see basically a last lap pass there by the 9 to get around the 51. And I think the 51 knew that he was, obviously Andrew was a lot quicker, and kind of let things happen. A nice and clean pass to the outside. And Andrew was able to make a bye and bring it back home here tonight to finish in 6th after having obviously a bad pit entry, and he's going to shoot himself in the foot, I'm sure, for this one. He, good opportunity to possibly grab that win here tonight, but things happened, and it's racing. So Grady Gherkin walks away your winner, and then we'll go ahead and see. Let me pull up the results. Excuse me. So here are your results here for tonight. Obviously, Grady Gherkin on top over JP Phillips, Christopher, Scott Bolster in P number 4, Steven Mioch back there in P number 5, Andrew Ratcliffe and P6, and Jake Lesh, Tim Glass, Matthew Simmons, Justin Kirby, and Brent Kirby for your 11 car field here tonight. So look forward to seeing everybody next week, Carl, and over to you.
Yeah, we're gonna go from the blockhouse here, the cinder block jail here that used to be the infield to the Brickyard next week, and it's going to be very, very interesting there. That big old 2.5 mile oval, quad oval, whatever you want to call it. It's 4 turns, but all 4 turns, even though they look the same, they are absolutely unique, and they certainly drive differently. And it'll be interesting to see how these drivers can handle whatever the setup throws at them for Indianapolis, and hopefully it's a nice turnout for these boys and they can get after it, because I like Indy. It's a fun track, and I'm sure it's going to be a little dance with these cars for sure, coming in with those high speeds and trying to get out with just as much high speed to get down the front stretch and the back stretch. Thank you for everyone tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But for myself and my co-host Jimmy Covert, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.